It's one of the distinguished places here in Kuwait. They have it all in the Gulf area, but here in Kuwait it has so many aspects.
Such as?
Watch this.
Okay.
One of the famous traditions here in Kuwait, a place called Diwania. It's a room or a house that Kuwaitis, they gather, especially the men, where they can drink coffee and tea and they chat and talk to each other. We visited Diwania al-Mutawwa, in which we talked to Mr. Muhammad Amin al-Mutawwa about the history in Diwania here in Kuwait, when it started and why it was established at the beginning.
The Diwania is from long time ago. You see the Diwania in Kuwait. It is an ancient. All the big families here in Kuwait, they established Diwania. The Diwania, the place which gather the friends, the neighbors, and it is as a special club, you see, to know about their friends and their neighbors and about the city also.
What is the difference between old Diwania in Kuwait and the new Diwanias here in Kuwait?
In the old Diwania, there is a special Diwania in the past, but now in this new history for Kuwait, there is many Diwania. Before, the Diwania established by the biggest man or the famous man in the family, you see. And now, no, there is many Diwania. But in the past, the Diwania is well known, and they can say about 20 or 30 Diwania famous in Kuwait, all Kuwait.
What are the issues or subjects they usually discussed here in Diwaniyas?
They discussed everything in the Diwania about the selling and buying, you see, the news, and many things, you see, for gather anything happen between the family, they can discuss it and solve the problems also.
The history of Diwania here in Kuwait goes almost a century ago. And the people of Diwania, they had so much memories, especially memories when they were young. Mr. Abdurrahim al-Mutawwa, he remembered the days when the Second World War, they were listening to the radio.
I remember only the wartime. All the friends gathered with about 1940.
Second World War?
Yes, Second World War. My father and his friends meet each other together and they speak about the news of the war. How do they know about the war? We know that Hitler, he attacked and they attacked him. Huh?
How do you hear the news?
We hear the news by radio.
Oh, you had the radio?
Yes, a radio. My father bought a radio from the American soldiers who visit Kuwait. I remember.
How much did you pay for this radio?
About, I think, 40 rupees.
How much in KD?
About 3 dinars. Yes.
And what happened when you heard that Hitler lost the war?
We were very glad. As when Saddam he left Kuwait.
Diwania, it's not only a place for the men to sit down and chat. It's also a place to make wedding celebrations, also to receive Eid greetings. And for instance, if they have death in the family, it's a place where they receive condolences. And that's what Mr. Abdul Hamid al-Mutawwa talked to us about this.
Yes, we make marriage parties, Spanish parties, and we are meeting our friends in Ramadan months and Eid of Ramadan, Eid of al-Fitr. Yes, this Eid of al-Fitr and Eid of al-Adha.
Why in Diwania everybody they have praying beads, misbah in their hands?
They are only to play with to play in it, and to exercise their fingers.
What kind of misbah you have in your hand?
This misbah, the kind of amber, and I think it came. They imported from Iran or from Turkey.
Why Kuwaitis they like amber kind?
Because it is good, and she said, they are saying that it is lucky if you will take this misbah with you.
Lucky.
Lucky, yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
When you go to the Diwania, do not be surprised to see the children, because some of the parents, they accompany their children with them, so they will have a chance to learn more about this famous Kuwaiti tradition here in Kuwait. Mr. Rashid al-Mutawwa, he will talk to us more.
I like them to get used to this thing because it's very useful and for our people to learn about.
What do you think of Diwania just for ladies?
There are things sort of Diwaniyas for ladies, but they're not called Diwaniya, type Dhaha or something, which is similar, but not Diwaniya. Diwaniya only for males.
The Diwania always smells nice, and that's by the using of rose water and incense. Those are natural perfumes that every Diwania, it's essential that you can see it there, and it's also to make you smell nice and natural.
Well,
hope you learn something about the Diwaniyah, because we all go to Diwaniyah here in Kuwait, and maybe you need to give a visit to one of them. Do you go to Diwaniyahs?
Not really, because I don't like to sit down. What I like is something called sport Diwaniyah. Have you heard of this sport Diwaniyah?
Not really. I know we have different kinds of Diwaniyahs, but sport Diwaniyahs?
No, sport Diwaniyah, it's a Diwaniyah that it's usually in a club. That we used to have this, and we used to go 10 times around the stadium. We run with like 20 of us, and we were talking all the time.
Are you sure this is?
Yes,
okay.
this is what I was doing. This is what I call a sport Diwaniyah, and this is my favorite kind of Diwaniyah. Not a Diwaniyah that you've seen that you sit down and eat and drink.
But you know, Ahmed, I mean, we have different types of Diwaniyahs. We have Diwaniyahs just, you know, sit down and talk for fun. But there are also Diwaniyahs, you know, for discussing the different social and political stuff here in Kuwait.
And also we have Diwaniyahs, they can watch you while you fix your ghitra. Because I know my friends, they always make comments about this.
Okay, maybe now we shall move to our segments, the other segments here in the program. So let's check this segment. Well, you know, as usual, we are so interested in presenting the talented people that we have here in Kuwait. And this time we have a really talented young girl.
Yes, if you have any talent in any kind of aspects of life, please tell us and we'll come right to your house, bring the camera, not to shoot you, but just to film you. I don't like to use the word shoot because a lot of people think of guns and machine guns. But we went to the house of
Mr. المطوع.
Saleh Abdelghani المطوع. She's 10 years old. She wrote a book about poems. And I was really fascinated by that book. So we sent Abdullah over there because he's better with kids than I, because I cannot really converse with kids very much. So he brought us this interview.
Kuwait was a desert and it was very small. Kuwait was the name, it was to be called. The amount of people were not many. Things were very cheap, they cost a penny. Now it is called Kuwait because people are many. Things cost more than a penny. Things are expensive now. It is expensive to buy a cow.
Fajr, if you allow me, I will ask you, when did you first start your writing of poetry?
When I was 8 years.
When you were 8 years. How old are you now?
10.
10. So it's around 2 years and now you have a special collection of your poetry. This is great, you know that? I mean, in 2 years to have a special collection of book. When did you feel that you want to write poetry? I mean, you wrote it the first time you said when you were 8 years old. But I mean, when you were, let's say, 5 and 6, did you feel that you liked to write and you tried maybe sometimes to write something?
No.
No, when you were 8 years. Okay, what happened to your first poets that you wrote? The poems that you wrote at the beginning, when you were 8. Do you have them all now with you?
No.
What happened to them?
I gave them away.
You gave them away? For who?
For my friends.
For your friends. Do they keep them these days?
Yes.
I'm sure some of them they do, okay. Because now, especially now, you're becoming popular because you have a book about poetry. I'm sure they're gonna keep them because they should be proud that they have some poems from Fajr. Fajr, do you like reading?
Yes.
What do you read? Do you write all poetry?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Who do you read for? Do you read for, let's say, novelists like, for example, Einstein's, and do you read for Shakespeare? As I heard, I mean, I was surprised to hear that you read for Shakespeare. So is this true?
Yes.
Well, in your age to read for Shakespeare, do you understand what does Shakespeare say?
Yes.
Do you want to write plays like he does? Like, you know, King Lear and these things, maybe when you grow up?
Yes.
I'm sure, well, if you have this talent of writing this poetry in this age, I'm sure when you grow up, you can write more poetry, and maybe you can write plays and so on. Fajr, if you allow me, when did you find out that Fajr has the talent of writing poetry?
Yeah, as she said, she starts when she's coming to 8. I feel that she gets that ability.
Did you take it seriously? I mean, from the beginning, how did you notice that? I mean, that you thought of having them as a collection?
I know at the beginning, I'm not thinking that she was serious, but since last summer, I know that she was planning to make her own book and she was dreaming of that. That's why I helped her to print that book.
And as usual, I mean, parents, they always support their kids, so I'm sure you were proud, I mean, of having them as a collection in here.
Yeah, of course.
Fajr, do you do something else than, let's say, writing poetry and reading? Do you write, for example?
Yes.
Do you write what? Short stories, long stories? You write?
Long stories.
Long stories. Do you have them also in a collection?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Well, Fajr, I only seen here her special collection of poetry. What about the stories that she just mentioned?
Yeah, we are planning to print it later on, maybe next summer, yeah.
So it's not in the press yet?
Not yet.
Okay, hopefully it will be so soon. You said next summer?
Inshallah.
Inshallah. Fajr, you have a poem about school when I was reading your collection in here. What do you say about the school?
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Why do you call school a nightmare?
Because I don't like school.
Well, I'm sure you like the school, but maybe you don't like the homework and the stuff sometimes the teacher give you and ask you a lot to do. Fajr, what do you tell your friends in school, or maybe the children and the others who are watching you right now, maybe if they want, you know, if they have a talent like you, they have a hobby of writing, something, or if they have another hobby, what do you advise them? Do you tell them to read a lot, maybe?
Yes.
Do you think reading help you to write and so on?
Yes.
And also maybe reading help, you know, to have more information in your mind and so on? Okay. Fajr, do you bring material, you know, reading books and so on for Fajr and your other kids?
Yeah, of course. Every exhibition of books, anyone, I mean, even in Mishrif or in her school, she used to buy a lot of collection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she mentioned that she reads for Shakespeare, so usually the
Yeah.
parents, they bring, you know, little kids' books, but
Yeah.
Shakespeare, I mean, how did she find out about Shakespeare?
Yeah, she liked it too much.
Did you get her the book?
I'm treating her as an adult, you know. That's why I'm choosing these books for her. Yeah, she reads nearly all the stories of Rolla dolls.
Rolla dolls?
Yeah, she finished it all. Yeah.
What about your sisters, Fajr? Do they write anything? Are they poets like you?
No.
No? You're the only one?
Yes.
Where did you learn to write poetry? Does your father or mother also maybe write? I mean, why you? Why do you write poetry? Does your father or mother write poetry?
Yes.
Your father and mother, they do. Do they also write it in English?
No.
No. Do they write in Arabic?
Yes.
Well, what about you? Do you like to write in Arabic?
No.
Okay. Maybe you will learn in the future to write in Arabic, and maybe it will be nice also to find some collection other than English and Arabic.
Yeah, it's the problem. Her language is a little bit not helping her.
She's in school,
Yeah,
English school, right?
She's in English school, yeah.
Well, maybe you can also support her and try to give her more materials of Arabic books that she can write.
Yeah. Of course, do not forget to count me. There is my mother like a lily. And there is someone who works and brings for us money. He's my father.
Yeah, I told her before, she said her sister, her name is Ghina, and her brother is Abdul Ghani.
Yeah.
And I asked Ghina, what's the meaning of Ghina? She said that I'm a rich person, and Abdul Ghani is also rich. And I said, okay, is Fajr the only poor one here in the house?
Fajr, she got it at time, يعني, like
well,
my name.
She's rich, not in money, but she's rich with this talent of writing poetry, right? Yeah, well. Fajr, I guess we come to the end of our interview in here, so thanks a lot for your time, and hope to see your storybook very soon, and also thank for your advice for the children, and we're so proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Fajr.
Thank you. I really appreciate it for encouraging my daughter by that interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jungle, the light.